brief was to base the work on that painting by John Singer Sargent called The Blind Leading the Blind. Not to copy it exactly, but to work around that. In the painting there's a medic at the front, but we decided that if we got rid of the medic and actually had the blind leading the blind, it would be a bit more harrowing than having a man stood at the side outlined. So originally we were going to put this chap at the front with his hand over his eyes and his hand outstretched. We didn't quite like that one, so in the end we went for this man who would be just floundering around with a blindfold on, not quite knowing where he's going. And then all his mates are behind him, all holding on in various positions, just fumbling their way along. Because it's one thing sort of making it, but you've got to make it so that people can solder it. You know, they've got to smith the works. Just been doing the little details, water bottles, entrenching tools, bayonets and ammo packs. Made some rubber moulds of those. Cast those up, get those on the figures.
We're now at the point where Gavin has finished all of his modelling of the soldiers, and particularly his attention to detail from the archive images and from the help from the MOD Defence Chemical, Biological, Radiological and Nuclear Centre has really helped us all out, because the information that we've had has given us a great insight into the reality of what we're making. So for Gavin has modelled all of the men in fine detail, and now it's our opportunity to work together to do the silversmithing part of it, which is really putting together all of our design concepts, the modelling, the groundwork, all of the components of the piece to make it real. Gavin has really carefully modelled the pieces, and now it's our interpretation of how we can make this into silverware. We've always had it in our hearts that we did not want to create a piece that was glamorous. We wanted it to be a tribute, a reminder of those people that gave their all. So our job is to create the soldiers by investing Gavin's models into a rubber. We take a cast of Gavin's original work. We then end up with a wax version that we then invest into plaster of Paris. The wax is then melted out of the plaster of Paris, leaving a hollow chamber into which silver is effectively poured or injected into the plaster of Paris, and we end up with lots and lots of components that look slightly grubby. The objects, the components have sprues on them where the silver is injected into the plaster. And all of this is an ancient craft. This is an old skill of casting, lost wax casting. So the pieces are cast. We then have to cut off all of the sprues and then begin to assemble the components, begin to make all of these sections fit so that all of the joins become invisible or actually, you know, our chance to put the pieces together to make them look fantastic. So you can see this piece here. We put the legs together onto the main body. We've begun to clean it up. You know, suddenly we have the components of the piece beginning to work, really. And further on down the line, we have another soldier here that the main torso is attached to the legs. Suddenly it's beginning to look real. Suddenly the detail of what we're trying to portray is beginning to look alive. That's the basic stage so far. We're very lucky in the UK to have the assay offices of Great Britain. We took the silverware to the London assay office where the pieces could be hallmarked. We're very fortunate. Silverware has been checked for its purity since the 13th century and even earlier, actually. And everybody taking part had a fantastic time in hallmarking the pieces and helping to actually punch those precious hallmarks on the hips of the soldiers. Our intention is to finally chase all the detailing on the soldiers to ensure that the 8 in their line look fluid. We've been studying the way that people walk when they are actually blindfolded to see the spacing in between them all. And in this piece particularly, we've got all the spacing so that the man at the front has walked off. The guys at the back are struggling to catch up and hold on. We're determined to make a piece that is both pictorially correct, that creates a genuine memory of their situation, but is remembering what they have done. From my point of view, the opportunity to build a piece for such a prestigious centre is just incredible, because for all of my family, historically, we've always been involved in the forces, either in the Royal Marines or in the Army. So, and that's just for me, but for many of the guys and girls who are the silversmiths here manufacturing the piece, I've asked them to just have a tiny thought about all of their relatives as well that have contributed to our tiny island and defended our tiny island. So for us, not only is the piece a very important piece of silversmithing, it's a thank you as well from all of this generation to the generations in the past. It's an important piece that we see as a thank you.